Hello, I'm Akito9323 and today it's going to be a, Digimon vs Pokemon Mega Battle Fight. Today the two Megas that I have decided to have fight are going to be Piedmon and Alakazam. Mega Alakazam, I should really say, shouldn't I? The two of them I've chosen specifically because they are both, in a way, use magical based or psychic based attacks, but also because they have something about them. Like Piedmon has his 4 swords and Alakazam has his spoons. Hilariously, I kind of want to have some spoons there, but never mind. Well, the two part about them and that is that I'm going to start with Mega Alakazam with this one because, specifically by Alakazam by himself, he's rather curious. Specifically because most of his descriptions are rather weird. One of them, I believe, is from Omega Ruby. It talks about its head being too heavy for its body, so it constantly uses psychic power to stop its own head from killing itself, I'm guessing. Which kind of makes that really kind of a bit of a handicap in a way. I mean, that constantly means he's not using his full psychic potential to fight, because he can't, because he's constantly trying to keep his head from, well, probably breaking his neck. Now, I think the two of them in a fight would be... Well, I think it'd be a rather interesting fight, to be honest. I mean, Piedmon, with his abilities, his 4 swords, his special attack, specifically Trump Sword, is he not only throws real swords, but fake swords. And because he essentially teleports them from anywhere, Alakazam would have to be constantly on his toes to fight against such a move like that. But should it get an attack through, if Piedmon were to use its ability Clown Trick, it would be able to it would be able to possibly reflect whatever attack it was. If it was some sort of like a physical attack, if it was something like psychic, I'm not sure Clown Trick would do well, but if he used Mask Square, I'm sure he would definitely be a real screw-over. The reason for that is because he creates sort of like a second dimension, like a field. It essentially makes everything like, well, red. Like could be red, like you read minds, stuff like that. But it could also teleport itself and so forth. Essentially, it's like an area where where Piedmon has full potential in it, where it could just attack from everywhere. If that was activated first, I believe that Mega Alakazam would have definitely lost. Piedmon, however, even from a psychic attack just by being thrown or anything like that, I don't really think it would affect it very much in the whole tent bite and that. Because the one thing I know about the two differences between the two types of Mega is that a champion level could easily fight well against a stage 2 Pokemon like Charizard and so forth. Going to Mega level would be overkill. The very fact that Mega level is far superior for Digimon than it is for Pokemon. It would be a much fairer fight if Piedmon was Phantomon or Metal Phantomon, being as it's a form change for Phantomon, and both being ultimate level, because as mostly seen by the fight between from Screw Attack, they did a fight between Charizard and Agumon that I myself also kind of did one. No idea I even made that until recently either. The attack itself, essentially, alright, let me get back to where I was. Yeah, that's it. Piedmon is still far superior because of its power, but also that it also has another form ahead of it. If Piedmon by himself is already much stronger, like every other Mega in, I would probably say, against Mega evolved Pokemon, then I would have to say that if he did become Chaos Piedmon, which in itself is a Mega, but of a much higher, he would definitely do a lot more damage. Mostly because his power is well, way off the charts compared to Piedmon. Sure, his colouring is a lot more black and white, so it's more mime-like, except for maybe the purple on the inside of the coat and the red and yellow from his, can't really say what they're a part of, but I know that the red ribbons come from off his back somewhere. But he still has the 4 swords for Trump Sword. Chaos Piedmon is way overkill to fight against Mega or Alakazam. If it was Piedmon himself, just normal Piedmon, he would do okay, I guess. A Mega Alakazam. He wouldn't be able to really deal that much damage, or like literally just barely anything. He would still probably have a better fight as long as Piedmon doesn't use his attack, his freaking Mask Square. That's the one. Yeah, I was thinking it right. I don't know what I was thinking of next. He, in that point, just it becomes so much more dangerous. I mean, you Psychic on him and he just disappears because he's not actually there, because he controls that entire space. But he's both. He would screw over any Digimon in that. If he'd used Mask Square in the actual series, Piedmon would have had a much easier chance of capturing all of the Digidestins, and probably might have even won. But the ability Mask Square actually only appears when he, from the time that I've seen it, in the manga with the main character who has a Vidramon, which is the original idea for the original line for Vmon before they created XVmon, and the whole idea of fusing them with DNA Digivolution to create Pyldron and so forth. Piedmon would definitely be the winner for this fight. Not because of his overall power, because in terms of power, he wouldn't really be classed as powerful. I mean, he's mostly he's classed as a wizard in the English translation, but in the Japanese, a demon man Digimon. To be honest, he fits kind of both those categories, but he would definitely be the winner against someone. I mean, I think he'd do pretty well. He'd win against Mega Mewtwo as well. Specifically for that fact, if he was to activate Mask Square from the start, he would be Piedmon would be unbeatable. You try to use Psychic on him, he's gone. He's behind you. Trump sword. You try to stop the Trump sword. Another one, another one, another one, another one, another one, another one, another one. One of them's going to hit you. Also, if someone does get an attack on him, all he has to do is use Clown Trick, and it will reflect an opponent's attack back at them. But it also does allow him to transform and disguise himself. So, originally, Piedmon could use psychological warfare by turning into the Pokemon trainer, essentially disguising himself as the Pokemon trainer, voice and all, which would then make any Pokemon, if it was not a wild one, because, well, you can't get a Mega Evolution that's wild except for Mewtwo, which doesn't really make much sense for the whole idea of what Mega Evolution is. So they really screwed themselves over on that one. Piedmon by himself is definitely the winner of that fight between the two of them. I mean, hell, like I said, even if it gets Mewtwo in either one of its Mega forms, it would be the winner. If it returned to Chaos Piedmon, because it could, and because of how cruel it can be, it would be an overall victory on its own. It wouldn't even need to use Mask Square. But Clown Trick in itself, if he disappeared or made himself unknown and he stood next to the Pokemon trainer in a fight and after using Clown Trick to disguise himself, the Pokemon would be absolutely confused because it wouldn't be able to do anything. And because of Mask Square working, it'd be able to literally, like, it can read minds and stuff. Any information and communications and so forth can be, heard. It knows whatever you're saying, which makes it difficult which would make it very difficult, because it could think of the exact same things that the Pokemon trainer thinks of, as well as whatever it is that the Mega Alakazam is going to do. That in itself would make it ridiculously hard, because the only way then for the Pokemon trainer to show that it's the right one and not get attacked, which likely wouldn't happen anyway, or it could, depends how bad the trainer was, would have to return Mega Alakazam. But in itself means that it's back in the Pokeball. End of. Fight's done. Piedmon would win that way as well. Piedmon is a Digimon that's a clown, based off of a clown. The whole idea behind it, that although in reality it's similar to Puppetmon, by the whole idea of like a kind of like a puppet in a way as well. It's still essentially a clown. It's really one of the most one Digimon that I have to say I really do like. It's curious. I've always been curious about why it is that Piedmon was made out to be a bad guy, because sure, it's a virus attribute and it's nightmare soldiers, but just because of that, it doesn't really state it has to be a bad guy. I mean, I have one on my Digimon Masters account. It's quite useful. I do like the Digimon. It's the only thing I don't like about it is that a Pokemon is really expensive to get a hold of. This Digimon Piedmon is definitely the winner of this fight. Mega Alakazam, even with its immense IQ and so forth like that, only works for the Pokemon world, but in a dimension that Piedmon creates with Mask Square, it would have no idea what's going on. It might be able to learn, but with the immense amount of information it's got to learn so quickly, and with its mind being read, as well as its trainer's mind being read, which allows Piedmon to know what the trainer's going to do before they do it, Piedmon has the overall advantage, and with his ability to be able to teleport his attacks as just using Trump Sword, but also using Mass Square, which allows to attack from anywhere at will, he would have the overall victory. He is the winner no matter what. He's cunning, he sort of has a leaderish kind of quality to him, but also he has this thing about him where he's not really serious about what he does. Like, he will show off his abilities. Sorry man, I've got a bit of a cough. He'll show off his power at its maximum, but he wouldn't actually be doing it for the whole part by it. He'd be doing it for fun. It's the whole idea behind him, and that part and that. It's just, he's not fully serious in what he does. But if he were, I'm guessing that's where Chaos Piedmon would come in, because Chaos Piedmon is a lot more powerful. It's also a more powerful Digivolution of Piedmon. Though it's still a Mega, it would screw over any Pokemon. As really, I don't even think an Abra would be able to do anything. Because if it tried to teleport somewhere, if it's inside of the Mass Square, it wouldn't really be able to. It could reflect that, or I don't know. I'm just thinking it randomly in that. But either way, Mega Alakazam has lost this fight. Piedmon is the definite winner because Piedmon just has the he has both the independence that a fighter needs, but he also has that part about him that if he had a tamer, he would be he would work well. I really do think he is one of the best, because he is definitely a very, very good Digimon. The whole idea behind it and that, I really do like. Anyway, I don't want to go too far into it and all that. This is, as you know, the winner for this fight is Piedmon. Now, a lot of people would probably think that yes, I am leaning mostly towards Digimon in the fact of this fight, but there is a very specific reason for that, and that is the fact of Digimon are superior in all aspects because Pokemon, they're limited. Their bodies were essentially created by nature, stuff like that. While Digimon, they took information and data that we created, and they used that to, essentially they were formless beings until they connected with our internet, because our technological advancements, they then took information that they liked or their powers would work well with or anything like that. I can't remember, there was a thing about it, I've completely forgotten it. I think it was something to do with this. But either way, they have our information about our weapons and our, like, all kinds of information, stuff about it. They are far superior because they are not bound by nature, while Pokemon are. But not only that, is that Digimon would be able to go into pretty much any dimension, because they essentially are connected to all electronical devices. If they were to get into any dimension, they could, and they could just as easily win in any of them, mostly because they are not bound at all by the nature or laws of that dimension, but of their own. So that makes them far, far superior to Pokemon. which in other states as well, and that is that they would definitely win in a fight against somebody using a basic type Pokemon. I mean, come on, it's like Charmander and Agumon. Agumon and Charmeleon would be a fair fight. But no, not Charmander against Agumon. Agumon would be far more powerful. But to be honest, Coromon would probably be at a disadvantage because of its lack of attacks until it hits Agumon. But seeing as Rookie Stage is essentially the similarity to Basic, Agumon would win in that regard. So that's that. I'm Active93 and hope you enjoyed today's fight.